Hello everyone, this is 3D Printed Animatronic Creature Part 37 Test Prints. Hope y'all are doing well. I've been busy working on this and been working on newborn stuff and also this big human head as you see here. So I just been working on this. Just been kind of busy, but my main thing is just getting this thing working right. I mean, this thing's huge. I mean, this just the head's probably 17 inches and has, I believe it's 26, 24, 26 servos. But back to our project. But this is what I had to do. I had to finalize the creature core. And I had to make sure that the thicknesses were correct. Now I'm in ZBrush and I'm manipulating this, but I needed this to be finalized so then I could bridge the gaps with the mouth and the eyelids. That way I could make this one solid STL file ready for printing. I was happy with the sculpture, so it was just mainly is to get my thicknesses right. Now, like by the mechanisms of the eyelids, I felt like that was correct, but the only ones that I had just wanted to double check was the back of the head and this around this ear flesh area and the mechanisms around the lips. I wanted to make sure that I don't want to produce an undercut in the silicones because even though it's going to be soft, it's going to still have to go on to that, layout on that area where the teeth are going to be. So I had to make sure it was all correct. And once again, I have to bridge this to what I have, and it's going to be bridged behind that center lip mechanism and the two fork lip mechanism. I decided to do the bridging in Blender. So I'm going to make sure that because I can manipulate some of the vertices and just overall basis better in Blender. Uh, but it's coming along. It's just making sure my thicknesses are correct and being able to see it right. But as you see here, I'm just trying to double check, make sure the thickness of the around the neck. But I want to be able to, even though I'm using Ecoflex 10 and the mold's going to be Moldstar 30, so it should be firm enough. But yet, I just want to make sure that everything is correct. And I'm also, you know, I got to make sure my my STL file is not too big because there is a max limit. I've read things on the internet. Now it might be different with resin, but we're doing FDM printing. And I'm working with ZBrush, Blender, and SketchUp. So I had to make sure that I had this correct. So this is the old canvas. So I had to, the decimate it. I did do the decimate in Blender. And, you know, I'm limited what I can do in SketchUp. But, I got it decimated and I placed it on this older version because I've changed the sculpture and removed it and then checked my molds. Then I did a cutaway so I could just really see how everything is going to be as far as my thicknesses area for my silicone. And I just had to make sure that everything was correct. And this is with a core in place. As you see here, now I can see how much more that I need to bring the lips up and or the center lips okay, and also these fork lips, which is the turquoise color, that's correct. So I'm happy with this, and I this is where I had to transfer everything to Blender, not from here. This was just a decimated version for me to bring it in and test it on SketchUp. Having this new PC has been wonderful. And now I can actually do certain things now that I wasn't able to do earlier on the older PC. But as you see here, I've I feel like my nose is correct. You know, I'm the the thinnest area needs to be the face and the lips and the eyelids. And everything else is just pretty much okay, just as long as it's 3 to 5 millimeters, maybe a little thicker. I mean, everywhere else but the face can be a little thicker. But you know, I was happy with that. I just wanted to check my molds and just pretty much check everything. As you see here, I'm doing a top version just to kind of see where if I do need to change the sculpture. And as you see here behind the ear area, it's a little thick. And right here on the back of the neck was too thin, so I had to manipulate it so I could get it, you know, thick enough so I wouldn't have any holes. But you know, it's just one of those things is which way is the best way to visually see this other than multiple cutaways. So I brought it back into ZBrush so I could see, you know, just check different color situations so I could actually see my thicknesses right. But I was happy with this, and I got this sculpture almost. It was 4 million polygons, and just trying to get everything just right so I could bring it into Blender and do the bridging. And once again, I had to make sure that my STL file was small enough, or you know, you could only go so high as far as, I wanted to keep this, you know, under well, mainly under 200 megs, but I even went further, and I believe that this was like maybe 120 meg, and but I had to uh, decimate it, and then it generated some double edges that I had to remove so I could get this border around the canvas, sculpture canvas, so I could do the a bridge loop. So that's what you're seeing here. I'm adding a new edge loop all the way around, and but it took some time, but it was nothing, you know. Some stuff is hard, but it's fun. So, so, but this is what I had to do, and this is one of the other things about Blender's decimation that is different than the decimation in ZBrush. And I just chose this version because I was already in ZBrush, and as you see here, I'm working on the mouth area here, and I'm actually inside the sculpture itself, and I'm just, you know, adding all these or removing a lot of these edge loops and faces so I can bridge this together. But to do all the bridging and all might have been 90 minutes. It was no big deal there, but I was happy with the results. It's easier for me to edit in Blender than it is ZBrush. You know, I've had ZBrush for a few, maybe 2 or 3 years now, but I'm, once again, still learning it. But, you know, I've been playing with Blender for years, but I just wanted to, you know, uh, go ahead and just bring it into Blender, and I can. But there's pros and cons on all softwares, so it's just a workflow thing. But after I got the bridging around the mouth and the eyelids and around the border of the canvas, and I was happy with, and and the results turned out really well. But once again, I had ordered my Molestar 30-gallon unit, and uh, just some trials of EcoFlex and Moldy's, release agent, and some Psycho paint and some clay, because I'm gonna do a clay border on on this whole, the molding process is a dividing wall. And but what I've been designing was the mother mold to hold the silicone. But here it is here in ZBrush, and as you see here, it's the one in the back is all sealed, and it's ready to be printed. And this is these multiple build platforms that is in Bamboo Studio. I really like this. This is pretty cool, and I'm kind of the only thing negative about Bamboo. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving the prints. It's great, but the only negative is it's just the build platform is not. It's 256 by 256 by maybe 248 as far as height. But I just mainly just really enjoy Bamboo, and I just got this time lapse on there, and times 24, and this is what it is right here. I just wanted to do a test just to see that this is not the one that's going to be molded. I just wanted to test, and it really came out well, and I was really happy with it. And but I'm gonna be printing this in a PET G uh, from Bamboo, and just to give it some more strength. But this is me just taking. Now I've always liked these kind of supports better than I do those trees. I don't really care for the tree supports. But once again, maybe later on I'll be using them more. But this is that one I did a test, just a small print, just to check out a little sculpt version or whatever. But this one came out really well. I'm happy with it. There's some little areas, with FDM print, very tip top of the head, and there were some areas underneath the chin where some supports, but I can clean it up, and I can also add clay to it. And the clay, you could actually sculpt on the core in clay, especially with some of these PET G. You can get some that can tolerate, a lot more of the chemicals with sculpting. But once again, that's just something we need to work on and just do some patching. But I'm really happy with the results. Everything. This my designs here of the mold, and I ran out of PLA doing a mold, and I added some other PLA to it. But I'm really happy with this mold, but there was one thing I'm wanting to change to it. Like when you see it here head on, I just don't want my silicone, the Mold Max 30, to do any sagging. So I'm going to put a key at the very top. I thought about putting some other keys, but I feel like the way the shape, it should be locked in pretty good. But here's the key that I added, and I've not print this yet, but I will print it. But this is just me designing the key, and I have one in the front and the back mother mold. But it's just mainly just to make a small groove that will you know that will somewhat lock in. I mean it's gonna be just something to hold that top, but it's not gonna it's gonna be poured upside down from the bottom. So that's the other thing. I just wanted to make sure to give me some kind of, I don't want really any kind of a sagging. And plus the mold dam, when I make the mold dam, it's gonna be not straight. It's gonna be, in a certain area that I want it to flow with the sculpture. But I think this will help a little bit just to keep it when it's, right side up. But and this is me here highlighting everything so I can reverse the faces. But as far as the screws, they're 4mm screws. They'll go all the way around. I'm really, really happy with the results of this mold piece. Now I'm out of PLA, but I have another. I've ordered another PET G. I have 4 of them here, but I'm going to need another PET G. But I hope y'all like this. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all like the video, and thanks for the likes. and subscribers. But let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a good one. Later.